Imagine the quiet hush before a family meal, the flicker of a candle, the scent of bread, spices, and earth. Across continents and centuries, the simple act of eating has always been something more than sustenance. Food gathers us, sanctifies moments, binds us in gratitude or contemplation, and even before the first bite, raises questions about what is worthy, what is pure, what honors or transgresses the divine. For billions, religious traditions shape the very boundaries of what can be harvested, cooked, shared, and blessed. But what lies at the heart of these dietary rules? Is vegetarianism a path to compassion? Is fasting about self-denial? Or is it a mysterious door to spiritual awakening? And how do concepts like Kosher, Halal, or Ahimsa reflect deeper visions of the sacred in everyday life? Today, let us trace the golden threads that our world's major faiths, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Judaism, weave around food, fasting, and dietary ethics, each an invitation to reflective living, Christianity, fasting, and spiritual discipline. In Christian tradition, food and its restrictions are rarely just about the body. They are, at heart, a conversation with God, a rehearsal of sacrifice, gratitude, and reverence. Early Christianity inherited Jewish dietary laws, but from its earliest centuries, the faith shifted focus away from legalism toward inner transformation. Jesus himself ate with outcasts and shared bread with the sinners, reminding followers that it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth. A call to purity of heart over ritual. Yet, Christians through the ages still embrace the mysteries of the table and the sacred seasons of restriction. Lent, the 40 days leading to Easter, is a time of fasting, abstinence, and prayer. Many abstain from meat, recalling Christ's own wilderness fast, a descent into hunger as a path to union with the divine. Some traditions, like Eastern Orthodoxy, devote nearly half the year to fasting from animal products, oil, and sometimes wine, disciplining the senses so the soul might awaken. Vegetarianism in Christianity is not commanded but is often seen as a higher way. A return to Eden, where, according to Genesis, the first humans ate plants and fruits in innocence. Some monastic communities have embraced vegetarianism, believing that abstaining from animal flesh fosters compassion, gentleness, and simplicity, aligning the body with the peace Christ modeled. Yet across the Christian world, practice is diverse. Some see dietary practices as secondary to faith, while for others, conscious eating is a tangible way to live the gospel's call to love and humility. In all, the act of eating becomes an act of prayer, and fasting is a reminder that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the heart of the divine. Islam, halal laws, and the significance of fasting. In Islam, the act of eating is deeply woven with remembrance of God. Each meal begins with Bismillah, in the name of the most merciful. The Quran sets guidelines for what is halal or permissible. Muslims are called to abstain from pork, carrion, blood, and from any animal not ritually slaughtered invoking God's name. These laws are not arbitrary. They sanctify daily life and awaken a sense of gratitude, stewardship, and discipline. Food in Islam is both a blessing and a test. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, counseled moderation. The son of Adam does not fill any vessel worse than his stomach. Eating mindfully is a form of worship, a remembering that all provision is from the sustainer. The month of Ramadan shines as the heart of Islamic spiritual discipline. From dawn to sunset, millions refrain from all food and drink, not as punishment, but as liberation. By fasting, Muslims remember the hungry, cultivate empathy and patience, and purify their hearts. Ramadan evenings unfold with iftar meals, usually beginning with dates and water, a gathering of community, joy, and spiritual reflection. While vegetarianism is not obligatory, some Muslims adopt it out of personal conviction, linking it to the prophetic tradition of mercy towards animals. What matters above all is intention. Whether one eats or abstains, all is sanctified by remembrance of God and the seeking of spiritual sincerity. Fasting also extends beyond Ramadan. Mondays, Thursdays, and certain holy days are recommended for voluntary fasts, continually shaping the body and soul in humility before the divine. Hinduism, Ahimsa, vegetarianism, and ritual purity. In Hindu thought, the kitchen is a temple, and eating is an offering at the altar of life. At the center is the profound principle of Ahimsa, violence, reverence for all living beings. This inward law naturally blossoms into the practice of vegetarianism, especially among devout followers. Cows, seen as nurturing mothers, are held sacred. Their protection extends as a living testament to mercy and interconnectedness. Vegetarianism and avoidance of certain foods are thus not just dietary choices, but spiritual practices. Sattvic foods, grains, fruits, vegetables, and dairy are said to purify the mind, fostering inner peace and clarity, while tamasic and rajasic foods, meat, garlic, onions, heavy spices, are believed to stir up lethargy or passion, distancing one from the serene presence of the divine. Ritual purity is meticulously preserved. Food must often be prepared with a spirit of cleanliness and devotion, served after prayer and sometimes offered first to a household shrine before being consumed by the family. On fasting days like Ekadashi, Maha Shivaratri, or Navaratri, devotees abstain from certain grains or practice complete fasts, emptying themselves to become a vessel for spiritual light. Hinduism's great variety ensures that dietary practices differ between castes, regions, and personal vows. But in all, food is seen as prasad, divine grace, a bond that links the eater to the cosmos, to ancestors, the gods, and to all that lives. Buddhism, nonviolence, and the ethics of eating. In the Buddhist tradition, the meal is a meditation, a remembrance of suffering, impermanence, and interdependence. Monastic communities in many Buddhist cultures abstain from meat as a testament to karuna, compassion, and the honoring of all sentient life. The Buddha taught that all creatures wish to avoid suffering. Thus, to consume flesh is to participate in the cycle of harm. Yet the story is rich and varied. Early Buddhist scriptures reveal that the Buddha accepted whatever was freely offered. And in some traditions, especially among Theravada monastics, meat is permitted if not killed specifically for the eater. In contrast, Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhist communities, especially in East Asia, embrace full vegetarianism, seeing it as essential to purify the mind and accumulate merit. Fasting in Buddhism takes the shape of mindful abstinence. Monastics often eat only in the morning, refraining from food after noon until the next dawn, a practice of simplicity and self-mastery. Lay people may fast on certain holy days or undertake temporary vegetarian vows, aligning their bodies with their vows of compassion and mindfulness. The ethics of eating ripple outward, how food is grown, whether it brings harm to ecosystems or communities, and how we receive it with gratitude. Each bite is a lesson in interbeing, and every meal an opportunity to nurture awakening within oneself and in the world. Judaism, kosher laws and sacred food practices. For the Jewish people, the laws of kashrut, what is kosher, are a sacred inheritance, a spiritual choreography that infuses daily life with divine presence. The Torah commands the separation of milk and meat, the avoidance of pork and shellfish, and requires animals be slaughtered with reverence and compassion, reminders that every meal is a covenant, every bite a remembrance of holiness. To eat kosher is to remember Sinai, the commandedness of daily life. From the humble bagel to the Passover Seder, meals are sacred scripts, conveying stories of wandering, liberation, suffering, and redemption. Jewish mystics perceive dietary laws as a path of tikkun, spiritual repair of the world, rectifying the sparks hidden in all created things. Fasting punctuates the Jewish year. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is observed with a total fast, a stripping away of the physical, so the spirit may return to God with all its longing and contrition. Passover brings the cleansing of the household from chametz, or leaven. Purim and Tisha B'Av open windows for mourning and memory through hunger. While vegetarianism is not a command, many Jews embrace it as an extension of the Torah's concern for animal welfare and justice. Jewish thought continually reflects, is it enough to follow the letter of the law, or must we go further, seeking ever greater compassion toward all creatures? Food for Jews becomes Torah made flesh, a visible, daily sign of relationship with the divine, an echo of the manna that fell in the wilderness. Shared themes and ethical reflection. Despite their unique languages and practices, these great spiritual traditions circle the same mysteries. All begin from the recognition that food is never just food. Every seed, every loaf, every cup of water is a gift, an ethical test, a source of profound joy and potential for harm. In nearly every faith, fasting invites the spirit to self-mastery, compassion, and closeness with the divine. Whether during Lent, Ramadan, Yom Kippur, or Buddhist Uposatha days, Hunger becomes a teacher, a reminder of vulnerability and generosity, a shared rhythm with the world's poor. Vegetarianism, widely embraced in Hinduism and Buddhism, is seen as the highest form of reverence for life, but echoes also in the practices of some Christian and Jewish communities, and among Muslims devoted to prophetic mercy. Across the spectrum, food laws, whether kosher or halal, sattvic or mindful, teach discipline, gratitude, and a respect for the unseen ripples of each meal. Ritual purity, preparation, and the offering of food reinforce a sacred relationship with what is consumed, reminding us that our bodies themselves are temples, and what we choose to eat shapes our hearts and destinies. And above all, these traditions urge humility, to abstain when needed, to give thanks always, and to honor both the letter and spirit of their laws by expressing love for the divine and compassion for every being who shares the feast of life. Final thoughts. To ask what the world's religions say about food is, in the end, to ask, what does it mean to be human? How do we honor the earth, the countless living souls, and the mysterious giver behind every meal? Whether through fasting, feasting, restriction, or mindful eating, the table is always an altar. Here in the daily act of choosing what to eat or forego, we shape our bodies, our souls, and even the destiny of our world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the sacred table. We invite you to reflect. How do your own food choices express your deepest values? What traditions nourish your spirit? And what wisdom might you share from your own family's table? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this exploration meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Faith and Life for more journeys across the world's religions and their living wisdom. May peace and delight be with you wherever and whatever you eat.